Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tin Roof Podcast. Today I am joined with a guest who is a fellow podcaster, a fellow rally fan, a fellow uh, writer. He is also a graphic designer and he does a few other things. And I'm going to give him a chance to talk here in just a minute. But Jim Booth has the Recce Podcast, or Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. I want to make sure I get the name correct. And then he also has a couple other awesome projects that are coming up, and we're going to talk to him about all that. So let's go ahead and let him get a word in. Jim, welcome.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate you having me, Justin.
Well, I appreciate somebody that wants to get on here and talk some rallying and kind of just help push the sport. It's
Oh, yeah.
definitely become a passion of mine, and it's obviously a passion of yours.
Yeah.
I actually came across your podcast about a year ago, shortly after, I guess it was a March-ish area, so because like
Oh,
here at
yeah.
Lakeland, I think just happened.
I was still green then. Yeah. I still am, I think, even after a year, but that was early on,
Well,
back in March.
I've been doing this, well, both my podcasts for 3 years, and I
Oh,
still
wow.
feel
Okay.
green.
Yeah, it takes a while. For me, at
Uh,
least.
it it definitely does, but man, it's fun to like you've had some really amazing conversations with so many different people, and man, they've all been interesting. I mean, we have such a great community with rallying, and
Absolutely.
it's hard to just pick one episode that really sticks out. That's why I'm sitting here going, But
That's
the one
okay.
with,
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun people on.
especially lately, like talking the national event with Colorado
Yep.
and Preston, right, with
Yeah,
ARA
Preston
was
Osborne.
the
Yep.
recent one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
one. I As soon as I wrapped that one up, think I finished listening to it yesterday, and I almost texted you like, "Man, that was so good," because
Oh, yeah.
it was awesome.
Preston's pretty sharp, for his position to be, in charge of ARA essentially and everything that goes on with the rallies. I found him to be pretty sharp. I mean, he was um, didn't stumble at all. Ask him any questions. He didn't have to think, and he's pretty good at what he does. And I'm sure the ARA is very happy to have him taking care of things and directing the, all those rallies. There's quite a few. I think ARA has 18 rallies, um, and what, 8 nationals. So because they have
It's
regionals and super regionals, so there's quite a few. And there's some odd ones in there that I didn't know early on. Some of the like rally sprints and things like that they also um, overseas. So yeah, they're busy, and they're all doing it as a side gig too. So it takes a lot of effort. So yeah, I've had a lot of good people on, and you've had Andrew Layton on. So he's really good. He knows his history, and yeah, his book is great. His Press On Regardless book. And I'm really looking forward to seeing some of his new books that he has coming out soon. So
the one about the scarab, I think, is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to read that one.
yeah, that one's going to be fun too. So
And I can't remember the general's name, but that one will be really cool too, because like
yeah,
that's a lot of motorsport safety that we still implicate today as far as like keeping fans safe and everything like that. And I never really
right,
realized it until talking to him.
yeah, um, yeah. It's been a lot of fun, and I like having all kinds of people from all different backgrounds of rally too. From Preston, who's in the management of a sanctioning body, to historians like Andrew, to drivers, co-drivers, fans,
The
volunteers.
me the mechanic that makes skateboards, if I remember correctly.
Oh
I can't
yeah,
think of his name.
Christian, the rally
Yeah.
hobo, yeah, and Christian LaPrade. So he's really sharp. He's starting a coffee company as well on the side, so it'll be fun. Great mechanic.
That's what
A lot of, yeah. Go ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. That's what I keep reaching for is coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker myself, so that's exciting to hear
Oh
that. I'll
yeah.
have to show him some support whenever he gets that
Yeah,
going. What
it's
were you
gonna
gonna
be.
say? I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's gonna be called Danger Den Coffee, just like his skateboard, Stage Danger Den skateboard. So yeah, I've had some good ones. Um, David Higgins was a good one to have on too. I was surprised that he said, "Oh yeah, I'll come on." He was, I think, 10-time rally champion here in the United States and lives in Wales now. And he was part of he had some records on the Mount Washington Hill climb, which is called Climb to the Clouds. It's coming up in August, early August. And that was kind of fun for him to talk about because I'm going to be there at Climb to the Clouds, interviewing the drivers. It's August. I want to make sure I get the right dates. I think it's 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's right around then. So
That'll be really cool. I want to try to make it out there for Olympus this year. Um, I have I have a goal to go to at least one other national event
yeah,
other than 100 Acre Wood, and so Olympus is pretty high on the I guess bucket list. But
yeah.
one thing I wanted to ask you is because you get to tell like everybody else gets to tell their story on your podcast, but it's your turn. How did you come across rallying, and like where did motorsports and stuff start for you?
So I grew up in the '80s. So seeing Group B and some of the other group races, not so much on television, but in magazines like Road and Track and all those others. My cousin was he still is a big motorhead. He does the Champ Car series, the Endurance series, and everything. And his kids are into it. But as kids, he was only a year or two older than me, so he would always show me these magazines, and you look at the pictures of the rallying, and it's like, oh man, that'd be so much fun because I grew up in the woods, grew up in the middle of nowhere, so I thought, man, it'd be fun to drive like that through these roads as a kid. But from there, I really didn't get into rally much. My dad was not so much of a gearhead or into cars. Actually, his choice of cars were actually pretty bad. I think he owned 2 Chevy Citations, which were just pieces of garbage. But
Yeah, they were rough.
oh yeah, and they
I'm
rusted
a
out
'90s
instantly.
baby.
Oh yeah. So from there, it wasn't until recently in 2022, I work with a friend of mine who makes hydrometers for testing fuel, for making maple syrup, for aquariums, for nitromethane and methanol. And the ARA, Doug Nagy, the scrutineer, reached out to him back in 2022 and said he would like to purchase some hydrometers. And so he said the nearest rally and the closest one schedule-wise is STPR, and I'd like to have them by then. So can you overnight them or try to get them to me? And my friend said, we're only a couple hours from there, so we'll go up and meet you up there. And we'll deliver the hydrometers for you. So I took my son, and he took his son, teenagers, but my son's 21 now. But we went up and we helped Doug in the ARA test fuel. So, and mainly for like limited and open class, they would go through and test the fuels. And it was great because we met Travis Pastrana, Leah Block, Lucy Block, Ken Block. And it was just so much fun, and I just got sucked in. It wasn't so much of a fun motorsport for my friend and his son because rally, you're sitting in the woods and you're waiting an hour or two for a bunch of cars to go by really fast, and then you go move to the next spot, wait a few hours, and he can't sit still, so he's he not into it so much. I mean, he thinks it's pretty cool, but I got sucked in, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is just like what I've always wanted to do is watch rally live, to be there since in the 80s, but I kind of, like I said, I fell out of it. But since then, I've been going to SDPR almost every year, and I thought, man, I need something fun to do, and I was thinking about doing a traveling exhibition, and I thought, because my background is museums and graphic design for museums and exhibits and some fabrication and that. So I thought, well, I would love to do a traveling exhibition. What should it be about? And I thought, well, rally is great. Rally would be fun to do a traveling exhibition, which I still want to do. And then I was working for the Antique Automobile Club of America, which the headquarters is only about a half an hour from me in Hershey, PA. And we did an oral history project where we would record oral histories of these men and women who would restore their cars and show them, and they loved telling stories about their own cars and the awards they won and how they restored it. And so I got thinking, I said, well, it'd be great in the traveling exhibition to have some oral histories and talk to the rally drivers, some of the older, more the drivers who had been driving, back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And I thought, well, podcasting is kind of that, it's kind of oral history collecting as well, recording oral histories in a way. So I thought, well, be good for me, socially, to start talking to people and just speak, kind of like public speaking or what have you. So I thought, oh, podcast is the way to go. So I did a whole bunch of homework on it, how to do it, and I just put some social media pages together, and I just started saying, hey, anyone wants to come on a podcast about rally, let me know. And then I started getting a whole bunch of emails and, people messaging me. And so that's how it kind of started for me. And I'm only about 51, 52 episodes in. But I love it because I've learned so much. And I wanted to take it, the perspective I'm learning about rally. When I first started, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I still don't know a whole lot about it. But I thought, if I'm learning about rally, I'm sure the people out there listening that want to learn about rally. So that's kind of how I got started. Long-winded way of how I get started the podcast. But
well, I mean, that's why we're here. We're here to talk about it, and
right.
That's so cool. So I guess the hydrometer company that your friend does is the one that you talk about, like sponsoring your show whenever you start your episodes?
Right. It's called Brady Instruments. His name is Brady, and his family has been making hydrometers here in Pennsylvania and selling them all over the world since like 1904, 1903, I think, maybe. And he kind of left, started his own thing, and then not too long ago, a couple of years ago, he was able to buy out his old family's company and buy all their stock and everything. So kind of came around full circle for him. So it's really neat. So how I got involved with him was, I don't do it so much, but I'm a home brewer, and I like brewing my own beer, but I haven't for a little while. But he makes hydrometers for brewing and distilling and winemaking and everything. So we both showed up at a Boy Scout camp here in Central PA, and somebody was showing a class how to make moonshine. So I showed up
at a
to meet
Boy
Brady.
Scout camp.
At a Boy Scout camp, yeah. They rented out the Boy Scout camp, and
oh, okay. I was about to say, they were teaching Boy Scouts that?
No, I should clarify that, yeah. they rented out the Boy Scout camp and was teaching, how to make moonshine basically. And they brought in a small still and everything. We made it, and then I met Brady there, and I started doing his graphic design and helping him with his website and everything. So that's how I met Brady. But yeah, their hydrometers are fantastic. He's one of the only manufacturers left here in the United States, probably all of North America. So he does fuel and brewing, hydrometers, syrup, all kinds of things, and anything you want to measure the specific gravity to. So everything, is compared to water, essentially. Water is like 0 specific gravity, and then everything else is measured from there. So it's a lot of fun. My son works there and does all the shipping and receiving and everything for him, and they make kits for testing fuel now, and big thing they're doing now is kits for testing fuel for outboard motors. So a lot of the brands
boats.
For boats. So Suzuki, if you buy a brand new outboard motor, if you look at the warranty, it says if you don't put the proper fuel in this, the warranty's null and void, basically. So you don't want anything with high ethanol content. There's a certain threshold. So the mechanics, the certified Suzuki mechanics, have to check. The first thing they'll do is if you bring your motor in, is they'll check that fuel and see if you've put the wrong fuel in, because every fuel is a specific gravity. And as you get into race fuels, like the fuel we tested up at SDPR rally, it's got a very specific recipe, racing fuel. So if you see the racing fuel for NASCAR, for like Sunoco, it all comes from the same refinery. It's all the same exact recipe. So it's a very constant mix. It does vary now when you go get like 90 octane at the gas station. It varies because it's coming from different refineries and the recipe might be slightly off, but I know race fuels are very, very specific. So you can tell. And you can tell by the color too. When we took fuel from the different competitors, and you would see like Ken Block's, Travis Pastrana's fuel, it was crystal clear. And as you got down to some of the privateers' cars, their fuel would get a little more yellow and discolored as it goes down. So they're just getting regular standard gas station fuel, where like Ken Block and Travis Pastrana were probably getting like a VP fuel, and they would open the can and pour it in and use the whole can, and if there was anything left in that can, they probably set it aside and not use it because the air contaminates it, and so on. So
that's interesting. I used to work for a monster truck race team, and we used VP specifically, and we always would get it in 55-gallon drums, and we had like one of the pump siphons. I was the siphoner. We didn't have an electric one.
You were the petroleum transfer technician.
There you go. Yeah, I was the PTT.
That's a better term for it. You pump gas, basically.
Yeah, and so that was one of my duties there. But yeah, that stuff is so crystal clear. And I was getting ready to ask, if it came in 55-gallon drums, but they probably bought like some of the smaller cans. I do this, but it was probably a bit bigger than that. But
yeah, they're probably the 5-gallon, 10-gallon cans or something, or maybe bigger than that. But yeah, because if you look at MotoGP, those guys on the motorcycles, and they'll fill that tank, and if there's any leftover fuel from what they're filling from, they'll put it aside and won't touch it. I mean, they want it straight from the can and no contaminants or anything. Take no chances, so to speak. So,
I mean, that's how you get a really good burn in the motor and everything to where it runs at its best. Yeah. Now, I saw you share a couple of things this week, and I haven't. I
Yeah,
normally like will touch base on like results or whatever or big news from
yeah.
rallies and stuff on a regular week where I'm even by myself or what have you. Uh, so did you watch Monty this past week?
Um, I watched some of it. I watched so during Monte Carlo, I would get up, get my coffee every morning, and I would turn on the TV and watch the highlights from that day or the start interviews. I really like the Dirtfish start interviews and
So
things
good.
like that. So yeah, and um, to see those cars in the snow and everything is pretty epic. Especially Solberg's off that he had, where he had to drive through the field, turn around, and get back on. That was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome
Still
to see.
won the stage too. Like
I
that is
know it.
so huge.
Yeah, I think he's happy in the car in the team that he's with now, and yeah, that was pretty awesome. So
Yeah, it was very cool. I was blown away because I thought, probably another Ogier win, which I mean, it would still be a
yeah,
cool money, regardless. But to have the story unfold the way it did was just amazing from start to finish. Because
yeah,
whenever he won stage two, I was like, that's really cool. He set a really good time. It was
yeah,
a tough stage. There's no way he'll, be able to hold it. I'm sure the other guys will rally back. And then, it was like it stayed the same distance or it got bigger
yeah,
between him and second. And I
yeah,
was just like, this is insane. This is his second time in the car, and he's going to do the exact same thing he did in Estonia on
yeah.
Mami.
Right. I think it's consistency has a lot to do with it, and that's one thing I talked to David Higgins about when he was on the podcast, because he used to drive for Vermont Sports Car and Lance Smith, and Lance Smith said in an interview that if you look around the shop, you'll see banged up quarter panels or what have you um, in and around the shop that belong to like Travis Pastrana or some of the other drivers. But Lance said there aren't any from David Higgins because he almost never crashed or had an off because it was all about consistency. So I think that's with Oliver. He's getting more and more consistent, and the more seat time he has, he's building on that. I mean, I think that goes a long way. So yeah,
And it really does because motorsports of any kind is a lot about consistency and how you can work the car. And you can
yeah,
see, like Dirtfish really pointed it out, how he works the car going into the corner so he has as much speed as he possibly can have coming out of the corners
yeah,
that the other guys just haven't figured out to do, like how to do it the same way he has. Even with a tire that a lot of guys, I mean, OGA over the weekend expressed his dissatisfaction, I guess,
yeah,
for the spike tire. And uh, I think it's important to note for anybody that is new to rallying, the spikes for the Monty tire is different than what they'll be using next month in Sweden. It's a much smaller spike,
oh
and
yeah, okay,
they I think even the pattern is a little bit different. But there was
mm-hmm.
an issue with the opening, the like how big the opening was in the middle for like cleaning the snow and slush away. And
Okay,
uh, OGA was like, we told them what we needed. They had a year to do it, and they didn't do it. But I do think we need to give personal. This is personal opinion.
yeah,
I do think we need to give Hankook a little bit of grace in that point because you know they've excelled in different parts of the tire, but it's still like a year of R&D for this one thing.
yeah,
You know, we'll see what they have next year because they have a multi-year deal with them,
yeah,
and I think that they will go back and they will improve. But the fact that they've made a tire that whenever it punctures doesn't delaminate is huge because they were having that issue
yeah,
with Pirelli before they went to Hankook, and so
yeah,
Hankook figured it out and has
yeah.
done a fantastic job.
Although I think OJ just likes to complain about the tires too. He's got- I feel like he's got to complain about something, so he goes after the tires. But that's just me. I just think, you know. Anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was a fun watch. I think anybody that watched it could have found something that was amazing about it, whether it was the fact that they were flying down hilly, mountainous roads covered
Oh
in
yeah,
snow.
and if you talk to Andrew Layton too, Monte Carlo is a very famous rally for Americans to enter as well. So back in the day, Americans love going to Monte Carlo and competing in Monte Carlo rallies. So,
Well, two Americans didn't find it very entertaining.
who are they?
Scott Harvey and Gene Henderson went over there
Oh,
and
right, yeah,
did
they
it,
did,
and
yeah.
they found it. I can't believe this, especially after this weekend. I wanted to go back and look at Randy Graves' pictures because he's got some of whenever they were there, but
Yeah.
they found it boring, and it's like how was this rally
That's
boring?
true. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Randy Graves's images that he sent me for the rally archive. So I've looked through those. So yeah, I've seen those photos.
Let's
They're
actually
fun to
let's talk
watch.
about that.
Yeah.
What exactly is the rally archive?
So the rally archive is just in its infancy, and basically it wants to preserve the photographs and all the documentation that's associated with the history of rally in North America. I started off just doing the archive for rally in America, but a lot of these um, old-time drivers and co-drivers also competed, in a lot of Canadian rallies. They went to Mexico and they had all this documentation and photographs. And one of them reached out to me and said, I don't want to just send you all the photos and everything I have for the American rallies, because what am I going to do with everything that's still all the Canadian Mexican stuff? I said, well, I'll take that too. And I thought, I'd hate to lose it, and I'd hate for me to just put it aside and not do anything with it. So I kind of decided to go with the Rally Archive of North America. So we just want to preserve it, preserve all those photos, even the route books, the programs, everything, so that we can put them all online and share them with anyone. So if you're educational or for educational purposes, so if you're an educator, you can go in there and get the information, results, everything. And if you're like a writer and you are doing research, say on Olympus, you want to be able to go in there and find everything that you can for Olympus, because a lot of the materials are getting lost, they're getting thrown away. Some folks don't know how to deal with it when they get older and they're tired of moving it around all the time, and ex-wives throw stuff away. It's kind of sad to see a lot of that long-term collecting just get thrown out. So literally just thrown away. So I thought, well, this is my background is museums, and I've worked with archives and that. So I thought this would be a great way to kind of give back and start a nonprofit and be able to start collecting these items and sharing them with everyone. So we would like it if it's for education and for research. If it's for commercial use, well, we're hoping if you're going to use it for commercial use, that you would pay us for that. So when we get paid for, say, photograph that's used for commercial use, of course the photographer has to be brought in and give approval that it can be used, and we want to kick that money back to the creative or the photographer who created that photo. So they get some recognition for it, because a lot of times old photographs are pulled and used for this, that, and the other thing, and they're not giving the photographer or the creative proper credit. So we're going to include photographs, video, videos, just about anything we can. I mean, it's going to take a lot of scanning. And we're also going to do a library. So I got a bunch of folks who are going to send in some old rally books. So if somebody wants to do the old school research and get a book and read it, we'll mail it to you, and then you'll just have to pay the postage to return it. So we're going to develop a library, books on loan, so to speak. So that's really the gist of it. So, and we want to also do with the archive. We want to do traveling exhibition with it, to go to the different rallies, especially the nationals, and show the history of those rallies, to get the locals, excited about it, and all the rally fans kind of seeing everything that's related to that rally and its history. And then we also want to do some, I'm not sure the proper term off the top of my head, but we want to do some forums, some live forums where, say, after like Lake Superior Performance Rally, the last national of the season, get a lot of the old timers together and just sit around and talk and record a discussion about rally and the history of rally. Maybe open it up for questions and things like that. So that's something else we also want to do with it. So yeah, I was working on the website today. I was working on the website today, so I'm trying to get it up and finished soon. And part of our fundraising right now is we're doing what's called Flying Finish, and it's a publication, and it's a 80-page photo journal of the 2025 year in review. So right now we have about 24 photographers that are involved, and they've contributed photos from rallies all across Canada and United States, and we've put it together in a book, and I'm wrapping that up this weekend, hopefully get it to the printer within the next week or so. And that's been great. I was overwhelmed with the support that we had and the sales. We did a pre-sale and we sold them. It's going to be on heavy quality paper and everything. And so yeah, we're excited about that. We got sponsors in to help with it, and we really hope that we can do this every year and do a photo review each year, and just try to get as many different photographers in that as we can to contribute. And then from there, who knows? We've had a lot of interest in producing a publication of some kind. Maybe not so much a magazine, but maybe a tabloid or something, where we take the photos and we tell a little more in depth of the stories. I've got several people that want to write articles for it and that. So I'm not sure how that'll evolve. I'm sure we'll do it, whether it's biannually or bi-monthly or something. We're definitely going to put that together and get that going here, hopefully this year. So yeah,
I'd be interested in contributing. So if you
that'd be fantastic.
A writer, just let me know. I'll find something to talk about rally related.
Oh, all the time, yeah. And I don't want to just talk about stage rally. It can be the time, speed, distance, the TSD rallies, and some hill climbs like Climb to the Clouds, because they were often part of a rally and a rally stage actually. Was Mount Washington, I think Pikes Peak as well. So we want to do feature articles and just tell more of the story, and not so much a photo journal, but that's great as well. But we'll definitely do that each year. But some kind of a publication, I think, is the next step for us. I think it'll be fun, and we don't want it too expensive. So that's why I'm looking at like a tabloid type format, or a small magazine. We're not trying to be like Grassroots Motorsports or anything, but it would be nice eventually. But Sounds like a lot of
with
work
some
too.
sort of it, it it's definitely a lot of work, I'm sure. Uh, with some sort of like, I don't know a better term for it, but like an e-magazine be better, like where you could have it on like a tablet or on a phone or something where you can just like swipe pages. Obviously, I mean, it's not the same as holding a publication
Right,
in your hands, but
right. I'm kind of I like analog. I like vinyl records. I like publications. I like the tactile feel of a publication, and that's why I went with the photojournal. Um, and another thing with that is, it can't be scanned by AI and all that. You know, and I think it
that
would give it some more authenticity. I think, and being an archive and looking at those kind of retro things, publications and photographs to begin with, it'd be kind of neat to do kind of a bespoke magazine, which are making a comeback.
are
There's
they?
Yeah, there's some magazines out there. There's one I used to do a lot of woodworking. There's one called Mortise and Tenon. Um, I think it's like I don't know what it's called, like triple aught or 000. It's a Porsche enthusiast magazine, and that's kind of I want to go that route, but not charge an arm and a leg for $50 for an issue or something. Because I'd like the
Yeah,
tactile feel of it, and being an archive, it's kind of a throwback a little bit to the old days, and yeah. So I'm not anti e-newsletter or something like that, but being a graphic designer, I'm kind of against AI. I lose a lot of
yeah.
work, to AI, and that's can be tough. It can be a struggle. So, there's too many people out there that just a few clicks and everything is designed, and they think it's designed properly, but things aren't legible, and I don't know. Don't get me started on AI
Well,
because it really does bother me quite a bit.
as a writer, I find it extremely annoying. I mean, I use it for little things here or there,
Yeah.
uh, like to maybe fine tune because I'm a hillbilly. I am a redneck. That's
That's
what
fine. Yeah, I
the
have nothing against that. But to just feed something a couple of words and go do research on
yeah.
this and then have a whole article written, it's like
You
music.
can't beat the hmm
AI music
you can't
drives
beat
me
the human
insane.
experience.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so.
Uh, there's actually there was a country song. I can't even remember the name of it because as soon as I heard it was AI, I totally dismissed the idea of even listening to it.
Yeah.
Uh, I have no interest because I
No.
wouldn't that that AI has never had its heart broke. It's never,
No,
had
right.
its wife walk out on it.
It doesn't
It's
have a
never lost its
soul.
dog.
Right. It doesn't have
No,
a soul.
no.
It's
Uh,
artificial. Yeah. It's too bad.
and so I'm right there with you. And
Yeah.
I've even come from a background of comic books, as well. And I'd much rather have somebody, even though it's more expensive to have somebody draw the panels and everything else, that's somebody that I can talk to and be like, listen, I did one specifically with monster trucks, and I was like, listen, the
Yeah.
tires need to be a bit more like this,
Oh, cool.
make
Yeah.
this piece look more like this and everything else, and had a genuine discussion with somebody instead of typing it into a computer.
Yeah.
Does it have its abilities to be helpful? Sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'm working on a book right now. I'm not going to have it write the book for me. What would
Right.
be the purpose in that?
Oh yeah, not at all. There's no yeah, and I think I haven't read any AI generated books, but I wonder if there's a distinct, you know, any red flags that show up reading AI material, but I don't
There would
well,
have to be some sort of
I would think
plagiarism or
so.
something,
Well, that's the thing.
depending
That's
on
what
the
troubles me with
material.
AI is they train AI by looking at original music, original artwork, and original writing. So it is to me all plagiarism in a way.
Fair point.
Yeah. So Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like a more enhanced Google.
Yeah. Really.
Uh, so we were talking about the Flying Finish book, which I saw you post a link for it the other day.
Yeah.
The pre-sales are over, or are they still going on?
They're still going on. So what I'm going to do is I wanted to get pre-sales out and some advertising in. So I knew kind of roughly what our first print run would be, and then
Mm-hmm.
um, once we get our first print run in and it gets in the hands of a bunch of people, from there I'll probably do another sale. So I I don't because it's print on demand, so I don't want 1,000 of these stacked up in my bedroom or wherever and having to worry about selling them. So
Mm.
I do the on-demand printing so that when I know that I have 100, 200 orders, I'm going to have 100, 200 printed, and then they can go out. So I'm not sitting on a bunch of inventory. So then I'll do
That's a really good
another,
idea.
yeah, so then I'll do another sale saying, this is second round or third round or fourth round. I'm still learning. I did a lot of publishing design work for books, and I did interiors and book covers and everything, but I didn't really do a lot of the print side. But with new on-demand printing, it just makes it easier, and you can make better financial decisions and not be sitting on, all that money printed and not going anywhere. So I just want to be a little careful as to how I manage that. But yeah, we've got pretty good amount of orders. I think in the first month we did. We're up to 100 in the first month, so we'll probably do the first print run will be 200 or so, and I'll send each photographer that contributed will get a free issue, and everyone who advertised will also get a free issue. So I'll send those out too. And
That's fantastic.
yeah, I'll have to show you. I'm going to mail them in poly bags too. So I didn't want to send a really nice kind of magazine, softcover magazine, and get them mangled in the mail. So here, I'll show you. We got these. I had these poly bags made, which just says Flying Finish
that's
on
cool.
there. Sorry, my lighting's awful in here. But yeah,
you're all right.
They'll get mailed with the address form in the back and everything. Just so that it's a little more special,
That's really cool.
Yeah, I really wanted to make it, every aspect of it, right. From the, from the interior cover to the packaging even. So, and everyone will get a sticker as well. So, little Flying Finish sticker.
It's very well. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's very well thought out. You definitely did a great job.
Thanks.
I will make sure that I'm gonna steal the link from your post, and I'm gonna put it in the description for the episode.
Oh, fantastic! Thanks.
Pre-order if they want, or
Yep.
I guess it would be part of like the second run.
Yeah, that's fine. If I'll get some extras printed for this first run, so if there's a few that come in late, that's fine. I'm fine with that. So.
So you mentioned vinyl earlier. What kind of music does Jim Booth listen to?
Oh, I have quite the eclectic taste in music. I don't listen to hip hop so much. I do like the Beastie Boys, but I don't listen to country much. But I love pretty much every genre of rock music, I would say. And some Americana in that. I shouldn't say no country, because I have seen Willie Nelson on his Outlaw Music Fest, and saw Margot Price, and I'm real big fan of the Avett Brothers. So
Dude,
listen to
cool.
that. But I like U2. I like some of the alternative bands that were around in the 80s and 90s. Dinosaur Jr., Pixies. A friend of mine a couple years ago took me to a DRI concert. I don't know if you're familiar with DRI, Dirty Rotten
I am not.
Imbeciles. They've been
Oh,
on
yeah, I
tour.
am actually. I've never heard. It makes sense the abbreviation DRI,
Yeah,
but I've never heard somebody use it. Okay, I do know who Dirty Rotten Imbeciles is. Yes.
yeah. So we went to see them. We're in our 50s, and it was a blast. I mean, um, they're thrashcore, I guess you would call them thrashcore,
Hmm.
punk, punk thrash, or I don't know how to categorize them, but
I think you're pretty close with punk thrash and thrashcore. I think that's a
yeah,
pretty good description.
yeah. They were a lot of fun. And a couple years ago, I took my wife to see Dinosaur Jr. She brought ear. I told her you better bring earplugs. So they're one of the loudest bands that you can go see now, and
That's super cool.
they're really good. So yeah, I all genres. Guided by Voices is a really one of my favorites. Pavement. I don't know if you've heard it. Pavement or Guiding by Voices or
I have not. What would a song be by like both of those? Like, give me a Guiding by Voices and a Pavement song that I might know.
Teenage FBI from Guided by Voices or I am a
Yeah.
Is it I am a Scientist? Pretty good. Pavement has stereo, all kinds of good stuff. I'll have to. But again, it's that alternative stuff those too. Growing up in college, I like I guess they were jangle pop or bubblegum pop. They were called. They were called the Connells. They're out of like Raleigh. Saw Ben Folds 5. Are you familiar with Ben Folds or Ben Folds 5?
Yes, I
Saw
am.
them in college. Got a funny college story. Um, a couple of us thought the Connells were going to go play up in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I was going to school in Lynchburg. And someone said, "Oh, I think the Connells are playing." And so we drove up there to this place. I think it was called Tracks or Crossroads. It changed names. It was literally like right on the cross railroad tracks. And we went in there, and there's this guy, just a guy sitting on a stool, like playing acoustic guitar. And like, what is this? Oh, this guy's horrible. And my friend yells, "You suck!" And we left. And here it was Dave Matthews. It was like one of his one man, shows that he put on because I think he grew up in South Africa and moved to the Charlottesville, Virginia area with his family. So that was kind of a funny story.
That is a
Uh,
funny story.
so years later, we would tell that story and people would be like, "No, you're full of crap. You didn't do that." And someone had a bootleg copy, I guess, of Dave Matthews playing there. And sure enough, you can just barely hear my friend in the background yell, "You suck!" Stupid college kids. What can you do, right? So, but
Right.
yeah, music is great. I listen to all kinds of different stuff. One of my favorite all-time bands though is Rush. So that tells you right there I'm a bit of a nerd. So yeah,
Their stuff's good. They're not one of like my favorite favorites. I'm
yeah,
more of like a like metalhead. Like
okay.
Ozzy, obviously one of my favorites.
Oh yeah,
I tried really hard to go to the Back to the Beginning, and
yeah.
uh, unfortunately I wasn't able to swing it. The plane tickets alone were awful pricey
Ooh yeah.
just to get to England. And then I'm a big Iron Maiden fan. They're one
Okay,
of my
yeah.
favorites. Which they're actually going to be playing a festival in Kentucky called Louder Than Life, and I really want to go
Oh
because
cool.
uh, the the window of seeing Iron Maiden is getting smaller and smaller,
Yeah, right,
unfortunately.
right.
And that would be one because a lot of my favorite bands I didn't get to see because I love that old school metal. I like newer stuff too, but I love that old school stuff like Dio. One of my earliest memories of like metal and monster trucks are actually linked
Ah,
together because there was a VHS called Crash Impact
yeah.
that you used to be able to get back in the day, and they had monster trucks tracked, like the crashes tracked to Dio's Rainbow in the Dark.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
there, like 5-year-old Justin would run around the house screaming the lyrics to Rainbow in the Dark while watching monster trucks and pretending to crash his own monster truck. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
uh, that's kind of
That's
where my
interesting.
motorsports stuff started.
Yeah. Do you know who Vivian Campbell is then?
Yes, I do. And
Okay.
I've reached out to Vivian, and
Yeah.
I have put the idea out there to, if he comes to 100 Acre Wood, to do a sit down interview with him.
Oh, cool.
Um, I've gotten no response yet, but Vivian, if you happen to be watching this, you want to come on?
Okay.
But
Yeah, I hope to see
that would be
him.
so cool.
I hope to see him climb in the clouds because I think he lives in New Hampshire now.
He does. I want to say yes. I know he lives
Yeah.
on the East Coast. Climb of the Clouds is Washington, though, right? Am I,
No,
or is
that's
it on the
New
East Coast?
Hampshire. That's Mount
Oh, it
Washington in
is
New
New Hampshire. Okay,
Hampshire, where
Mount Washington in New Hampshire. That's what
yeah,
it is.
where they have the world's like worst weather. So yeah. But yeah, I was
Really?
going to mention Vivian because yeah, he played for Dio, White Snake. He went on tour with Thin Lizzy, and of course he's the one of the guitarists for Def Leppard now. So, and a big
I knew
Rally fan.
Def Leppard. Yeah,
Yeah,
driving a rally too this year. That'll be
yep,
exciting.
yeah. It's gonna be a fun year in Rally for sure. So I was gonna also mention I was doing a museum project in Michigan, probably around 2007, I want to say. And I was eating at the hotel restaurant, and a bunch of people came in with Van Halen shirts, and I'm like, "What's going on? The Van Halen tour is over." And they said, "Oh no, Van Halen's playing across the street. This is Grand Rapids." And they said, "Yeah, it's a makeup show because Eddie had to go into rehab or something." And I'm like, "Oh man, the tickets are probably sold out." And they said, "Oh no, there's tons of tickets left." So I went and sat to the side stage, the left side of the stage, and saw David Lee Roth. It was complete Van Halen without Mark because Wolfgang was playing bass. They had thrown Mark out of
Yeah,
the band at that point. But oh yeah, so seeing Van Halen with Diamond Dave to me is the best Van Halen. Was
yes.
pretty epic. That was a pretty epic show. I had a lot of fun that evening. So yeah,
Dude, that's so cool. Especially like having that particular incarnation of the band together because Wolfgang is an absolutely amazing guitarist. Like I
he
know,
is.
like
Yeah,
you could put a guitar in my hand and I have no idea what I'm talking about or what I'm doing, but to
yeah,
listen to that dude just shred
yeah,
is amazing.
yeah. I like his new stuff. So it's pretty good. So so you're
Uh,
gonna go see Iron Maiden? Any other
I
bands that you
want
have
to.
lined up? Yeah, or you'd
Uh,
like to? What
I,
other bands are you thinking of?
so I really like the genre that is known as deathcore,
Yeah.
which is like the kind of like Cannibal Corpse. They're one of the bigger deathcore bands that people
Oh
know.
yeah,
But there's one from Tennessee called Whitechapel, and they
yeah.
are one of my absolute favorites. I want to go see them. Co Wetzel on the countryside is one of my favorite ones. He's like a southern rock. He's from like West
Okay.
Texas, and he
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
has like that West Texas country sound. So
Oh
it's very
yeah,
rockish. It reminds me a lot of like Waylon Jennings later on in his career.
yeah.
Um, uh, if Willie did his his Outlaw Festival tour again, I would probably try to go see that depending on who was there. I'm not the biggest Willie fan, but
Yeah.
again, window is getting smaller and smaller.
Neither
To say that
neither
I
am
got
I,
to see
but
Willie
he
would
was
be
pretty
cool.
good. He was pretty
But
good.
uh,
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say Margot Price would be a cool one to see too.
Yeah, she was really good. And a couple of things. I mentioned the Avett Brothers earlier. Well, they
Hmm.
put an album together with Mike Patton of Faith No More. You familiar with
Hmm.
Faith No More?
Yep.
So they
Yep.
just did an album together, and it's really good. And they're supposed to do some kind of tour with it, and that'd be fun. And then my friend invited me, I think in March here locally, near Reading, is Testament is going to play.
Okay. So
So
there's a
I might go
girl that
see
I go to
Testament.
church with.
Yeah.
Testament's her favorite band. They're
Oh,
they're
really?
really cool. Chuck Billy's a great singer, and just that whole band together is amazing. I'm a
Yeah.
big
Check
Lamb
them
of
out.
God fan,
Yeah.
who are from the Virginia area, and
Yeah.
I like they've been around for sheesh, what was it, Ashes of the Wake 2 years ago or last year had the
Yeah.
25th anniversary, and uh, that was like one of my first like big introductions into like the screaming vocals that or
Oh
harsh
yeah.
vocals is what they call them
Oh yeah.
now that I kind of dig, but I still love the old school stuff like Van Halen and Dio and all that
Well,
other stuff we
you'd
listed.
be able to catch DRI somewhere, I'm sure. Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, because they have been touring nonstop for like 41 years.
Which is insane. That's
It
such a
is
cool thing
insane.
that those
Yeah.
bands like that can stay together that long. Like
Yeah.
even like Korn, they formed in like 91, so like
Yeah.
they've been together for like 35 years, almost 35 years, because I'll be 35 this year, and I was born in 91.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Yeah.
I mean, the longevity. Metallica. I mean, they've been around for it feels like forever now. They've
Yeah.
they've got like a storied career like the Rolling Stones.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable the longevity these guys can have nowadays. Or I
Oh,
say
yeah.
nowadays, but this whole time.
Well, the Megadeth window is about to close, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to
They
see
did a
them.
cover of
So
Ride the Lightning. They just dropped a new album.
yeah. So I think this is their last year. So
Oh,
so they
have they
say.
said that?
I think so. But a lot of bands do that. You know, Ozzy did that, right? How many times did he do his farewell tour? Like three, four
I
times.
think he even made a joke about it on one of them. He's like fair. It was like farewell again or something like that. I think is what he
Yeah.
called it. And uh, you're absolutely right. But I think a lot of it is like from doing monster truck shows and stuff like that putting something together and sharing it with people, whether it's monster truck shows or music, putting
Yeah.
it out there in front of somebody and performing for people. There's a certain connection there that you just really grow attached to that you don't want to stop doing it.
Right.
And I think that they get that feeling, and people be like, oh, they need money. Well, in some cases maybe, but I think a lot
Yeah.
of it is they love that connection with their fans.
They just love the tour. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So cool.
What bands do you want to see this year?
I would like to see Megadeth, but again, I'd like to see the Avett Patton um, together. Avett Brothers and Mike Patton. That would be pretty cool. Um, I haven't really looked too much of who's touring this year. I've just been so
Mm-hmm.
busy. I wanted to go see Rush because they are going back on tour with a new drummer. But the tickets are very steep. Yeah,
I
thousands
can
of
imagine.
dollars. So, um,
Oh,
yeah,
it's more than
VIP
I was thinking.
passes were like $5,000, I think. So,
Sheesh.
yeah. So, no thanks. I
Yeah,
like
no,
them,
thank
but I
you.
don't like them that much. So,
I
yeah,
hear
I'm
you.
trying to think who else would be fun. There are bands that I'm bummed that will never, Pink Floyd will never tour again. I know that would be an epic show, I imagine. Um, yeah, they're just, yeah. And Eagles would be fun, but I know they're outrageously expensive. I've seen Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh was really good. Um,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I don't know. Um, Testament should be fun.
You'll have a
Probably
good
do that
time
in
for
March.
sure.
Yeah. I don't know who's opening for him, but um, yeah. Probably some local bands. I know when DRI opened, or DRI concert a couple years ago. Some really good local Philly thrashcore. Other bands open for him. I think one band's called Honey, which was pretty epic band. Had our faces melted off for sure.
I was looking at their page, pulling up their tour to see
I think
if
it's
it
in
would show who
March
they're
or
touring
May
with.
for Reading, PA. I don't know.
Overkill and Destruction are going to be with them.
Oh, okay. Overkill should be good. I think it's
playing
Reading.
a bunch of festivals.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm reading. I'm just reading really slow.
That's okay.
Yeah, March 29th they're going to be in Reading, Pennsylvania at Club Reverb.
Yep.
I was looking to see because they've got some flyers up. I was looking to see if maybe it would show a flyer for it, to see if there was a flyer for that particular show, but it's a bunch of different festivals.
Yeah. Now, one cool
That'll
thing.
That'll be a cool one, though.
Yeah, one cool thing that is near us here. Here, hold on a sec. I think I gotta let the cat out of the room. She's scratching at the door. Good. Hold on. Go on. Sorry about that. And then I think the lighting's a little better now. What's near me here, where I live, just down the road is a place called Tate. And they're one of the world's largest, I think they are the world's largest stage and production companies. And they have the world's largest practice facility here in Lidditz, Manheim, Pennsylvania, in Lidditz. So what they'll do is they'll design and build the stages there. They'll train the roadies, they'll train security, they'll do everything there. And so the bands will come in, play on the stage, learn the stage, and then, their crew learns how to build them and break them down. So I know Paul McCartney's been in town. U2 was in town at one point for one of their stages. Lady Gaga was in town. Some people saw her wandering around. She even dated a guy from the local town. But yeah, it's a massive facility.
Like the East Coast originally, isn't she? Like
I think
New York or something like that?
I think so. I forget where it is.
We have
Taylor Swift is from like Scranton, PA, which is just up the
road. She actually, so funny story about Taylor. She has a house had a house in Rhode Island, and everybody knew it. And one of my buddies worked for a company that would put on like the graduations and stuff for the bigger schools.
Yeah.
And he went up to Rhode Island to do one of these graduations for one of the colleges up there. He was like, I'm gonna go for a little walk, go down to the beach or whatever.
Yeah.
And he like took a picture, and the house is like back behind him, and he was showing some people, I went over the beach or whatever, and they're like, that's Taylor Swift's house. And he's like, oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, she's still there, I think. She still owns that house in Newport.
We have a stage company here that is similar to that one. But a lot of country music artists use it. I don't know any of the people.
I'm sure,
I don't know any of the bands or whatever that have used it, but a lot of the tours for these bands are starting in St. Louis now because of that. And I can't remember the name of the company, but I want to say it's, we have a company out here that does a bunch of heavy equipment called Fabic. I want to say he's the guy that has started this particular stage building company. And so what rallies are you going to be going to this year? We'll close out with that.
Well, I know for sure STPR, Susquehannock Trail Performance Rally, which is in Wellsboro, which is July 9th through the 11th. I'm starting to help them out with media and doing their
That's
social
really cool.
media and everything. So, sorry, got a loud truck driving by. Yeah,
That's all
doing
good.
their social media and stuff. So I'll definitely be there. I'm gonna do I'm also gonna do a fan favorite award. So the podcast is gonna sponsor an award for the fan favorite there, and it's gonna be a giant cowbell. It's gonna be about a 20-inch tall cowbell for the fan favorite. And
Will it be a functioning cowbell?
yes, that's the plan.
That's awesome.
That's the plan, is to be a fully functioning cowbell. So I got to get working on that, because I may have to do a couple of them in case there's a tie vote or something. But so I just have that one planned, and I have the Climb to the Clouds in New Hampshire, Mount Washington, in August. I think that's 7th, 8th, and 9th. So I have that planned. And that's it so far, because I really want to focus on the archive and get the website up here in the next month or so, and try to figure out our other publication. It'll be the sister of the photo journal. So, and just see how that works. Hopefully it'll work out. We'll see. And no shortage of writers, so definitely probably be reaching out to you. So. Should be a lot of fun. So yeah, it's busy. Got a lot of people sending me books and photos and stuff. So I'm gonna have a lot to sort through. I do already, but I enjoy it. Every time I open a folder full of photos or something that somebody sent me online, it's just so much fun to go through those and see the old school rally cars, and it's just a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. So.
It's such an amazing motorsport. I really want to see it be bigger here in the States. Because I don't think people realize what they're missing. The way I explain it is this is what NASCAR was supposed to be, because NASCAR started off with the shiners that were flying down the back country roads and everything else.
They weren't driving around circles on a track. They were running rallies, basically.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what I tell people all the time. I'm like, this is what NASCAR should have been like. If it's the ultimate sport for a redneck, because they're flying down backcountry roads.
Right.
Like that's what we've all wanted to do. It's what we've done as teenagers. Which closed course versus just open roads is totally different. So kids, be safe out there.
Yeah, don't do what I did in high school.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. Don't do what I did in high school. But rallying, TSDs or stages, is a thought for those, because I'm all for high speed, obviously, but I want people to do it safe. And TSD is a little bit different than high speed, obviously. Yeah. We broke that down with Andrew. But where was I going with this? My brain went.
That's fine. But yeah, NASCAR. They should
so much fun.
They should
rallying
all be
is awesome.
Rallying.
Yeah. I wonder how some of those guys, because like Colin McRae used to say, straight lines are for fast cars, roads with curves are for fast drivers. I wonder how some of those guys would. I think Jimmy Johnson would handle it very well, just because he was an off-road guy before he was a NASCAR guy. So I think he would handle it pretty well.
Couple of drivers out there, I think, have tried it, and I'm trying to remember. Someone from NASCAR tried it, and they were like, no, like nitro. They tried nitro cross or something, and they're like, no, this is too scary for me or something. I'm trying to remember if it was one of the Bushes or I don't know. I forget. Don't quote me on that.
There was a Formula One guy that rode with, I want to say it was Kalle Rovanpera or Sebastian Ogier. I can't remember who they rode with, but they got done and they got out of the car and they're like, nope.
Yeah, it's man, going fast and missing stuff. It's just, it's such a fun sport to watch. You have to have a different. It's a totally different motorsport for a spectator. You got to enjoy hanging out and waiting and, you know, hooping and hollering when these cars go screaming by. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
My goal, I want to bring, because I'm a big barbecue guy. That's what a lot of my cooking videos that I do is. So I want to bring like a little bit of like an Argentinian flavor to whenever. Well, it's not just Argentina that does it. You see people barbecuing all the time.
Yeah.
In the videos and stuff like that from all over the world. But my plan is to do some barbecuing and like maybe do some filming of a cook while we're at some of the stages for 100 Acre Wood this year. Because I think that would be really, really cool to combine the.
It'd be fun to do like a how to pack in and how to, you know, get a hibachi or something if it's allowed, you know, and how to cook while you wait for the cars. It'd be
very cool. There's a couple of different options because I got a small Blackstone that I could bring, or there's actually there's a suitcase barbecue grill. It literally looks like a suitcase, and you can smoke on it, like do slow smoke, or you can do a fast cook on it. Yeah. And so I wanna get one of those. That's one of the few things like toys wise for barbecuing that I don't have yet. But man, I wanna thank you for coming on. I've taken up an hour and 10 minutes of your time, almost 11 minutes now. But I really appreciate you coming on and talking music and rallying and everything else.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'll have to have you come on my podcast then. We'll have to schedule a time to have you come on.
I would love it. I don't know how much interest or how entertaining I would be, but I would definitely. I'm always looking for an excuse to talk rally. So. Yeah,
well, we could talk rally music and cooking too. I got a big green egg, so maybe you can give me some pointers.
Dude, I found I haven't been able to use it yet because I got to order some parts for it. Yeah. But my day job is a trash man, and I found an acorn in the trash. So I have a ceramic. I haven't been able to use it yet, but ceramic is something that I really, really want to get into. I've got, like I said, I've got so many different toys and everything like that, but that's one I haven't been able to use yet. I've built a fire pit for doing like open fire cooks here at the house, like cooking big like alligators and pigs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I got to finish it, but the pit itself is built. But now I need to build like my racks and stuff to hang over.
Pizza is fantastic on the big green egg because you can get that sucker hot like a true pizza oven. But I've done about 3 years in a row. I've done Thanksgiving turkey on the big green egg, and it's turned out fantastic. It's like I didn't have it set up, and we had to use the oven this year, and we were all like, "Oh man, it was so much better on the egg." So yeah, we'll have to chat about that too. So cool.
That'd be great. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Keep in touch.
All right, and be safe out there.
Have a good evening.
Will do. You do the same, bud. Thank you so much for coming on.
Bye.